Hey there, and welcome back. It's great to have you with us for this deep dive, especially everyone in our fantastic chat, the native community.
Great to be here.
We know what so many of you are aiming for. It's not just about getting the grammar right or, memorizing endless vocabulary lists.
Right.
It's that next step, isn't it? Speaking English, well, easily, smoothly. Feeling natural, like the words just kind of flow.
That's the dream. Absolutely. Getting past that hesitation, that feeling like you're stuck translating in your head all the time.
Oh, exactly.
And, true fluency, that kind of natural speed we're talking about, it isn't really just about knowing more words.
Okay.
It's fundamentally about training your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Training it to use the English you already have, but accessing it much faster, making it automatic.
Okay, let's really unpack that because this idea, training your brain for speed for automaticity, that's really the heart of what we're digging into today. We've been looking at some really interesting material focused specifically on breaking through that hesitation barrier. We're talking about some powerful brain training drills.
Yeah, drills designed precisely to cut down those pauses, speed up how fast you find the words you need, and just help your English flow with a lot more confidence.
And what's really great about the stuff we looked at is these aren't just theories, right?
Not at all. They're concrete, really actionable exercises, things you can genuinely start trying out today.
Right now.
Exactly. And they build that kind of confidence that comes from, knowing you're actively training your brain to get that natural speed you're aiming for.
So if you feel like your brain is just, I don't know, too slow in English sometimes, or maybe you just want to push towards that more effortless kind of flow,
Yeah.
then definitely stick around. We're going to dive into exactly what these drills are, get into why they actually work on a cognitive level.
The brain science behind it.
Yeah, and show you how you can actually weave them into your practice routine. This is where it gets really practical and pretty interesting.
It really starts with understanding this basic idea. Fluent speech isn't just about having the pieces, the words, the grammar rules, all that.
Okay.
It's about your brain's ability to assemble those pieces and get your thoughts out at a natural speed in real time.
Like how a conversation actually happens.
Exactly. The sources we looked at really emphasize that our brains, they're wired for efficiency. But when you're learning a new language, it's easy to default to overthinking everything, analyzing, translating.
That little voice in your head critiquing everything.
Precisely. We need to kind of bypass that layer, that analytical part, and build a more direct route for speaking.
It makes me think of learning to ride a bike. At first, you're thinking about every single thing. Balance, pedals, steering.
Right. It's slow, maybe a bit shaky.
Yeah. But then you practice, and suddenly it just becomes automatic. Your brain and body just do it without you consciously thinking through every step.
That's a perfect analogy. Speaking a language fluently is very similar. You want that process to shift from conscious, heavy effort to, automatic execution.
So how do we train for that?
Well, the sources point to some really specific ways. And the first really powerful drill they detail is something called timed topic talks.
Timed topic talks. Okay, sounds straightforward, but I guess the timed part is important. What is it exactly?
It's actually beautifully simple on the surface. You just pick a topic, something really basic.
Like what?
Oh, the examples given are wonderfully everyday things like my favorite color or describe your morning coffee routine or even just talk about shoes.
Okay, really simple stuff.
Yeah, the idea is to pick something you can talk about easily without needing special knowledge or doing research first.
Got it. Simple topics. And the timing.
Right, you set a timer. The materials suggest starting small, maybe just 60 seconds, 1 minute.
Okay.
And the goal, the absolute mission, is to speak about that topic continuously for the entire minute, nonstop.
Continuously. Okay, hold on. What happens if you get stuck? Because that's the number one reason for hesitating, right? You just freeze.
But that's the whole point. That's the genius of this drill. The how-to part is very clear. If you get stuck, you cannot stop talking.
Seriously?
Seriously, you have to keep making noise, keep the sound flowing. The sources suggest things like, just describe the last word you said, or give an example of it, or even just say something like, okay, what was I saying? Or let me think about that point. Or even just describe your struggle out loud in English, like, wow, my mind just went blank. Anything to keep talking.
That feels really weird, counterintuitive. Aren't we usually told to pause and think carefully?
We are, for careful, precise writing, maybe. But this drill is specifically targeting fluency, speed. It's saying, nope, keep that engine running, even if it sputters a bit.
Okay, so how does forcing yourself to just keep talking, even awkwardly, actually help you become more fluent?
Well, this taps into a really important insight from the sources. By forcing continuous speech under that time pressure, you're basically training your brain to access language and structure thoughts automatically.
Bypassing the slow, analytical part.
Exactly. You're building quicker pathways for retrieval and expression. It's sort of like practicing scales on a piano. Rapidly, you stop thinking about each individual finger movement. The sources highlight that doing this consistently, this pressure to keep talking, it trains your mind to organize information and grab words much faster. And that directly reduces how often you rely on those long pauses or filler words like and ah. It builds expressive speed, getting your own ideas out faster.
Okay, wow. So it's like creating this little language pressure cooker for your brain, forcing it to adapt and speed up. I like that. So time topic talks help get your own thoughts out faster. But what about understanding and keeping up when someone else is talking fast?
Excellent question. That's precisely where the second key drill comes in. This one's called real-time shadowing.
Shadowing, like following close behind.
Exactly like that. It means you listen to a short audio clip, could be anything, a podcast snippet, news, whatever, from a native speaker.
Okay.
And you try to repeat it or shadow it almost at the exact same time they're saying it, or maybe just fractionally behind them.
So you're literally trying to talk right along with them, like being their echo.
Pretty much, yeah. The material describes it as a really powerful exercise because it forces you to integrate several crucial skills all at once.
Right.
Listening comprehension, obviously, pronunciation practice.
Right.
But crucially, it trains your processing speed, how fast you can take in sound and turn it back into speech.
Okay, walk us through the best way to actually do this shadowing thing.
Sure. You need a short audio clip first. The sources suggest about 30 to 60 seconds is a good length to start with. Keep it manageable.
And the audio source?
Anything authentic is good. A bit of a podcast, a news report, movie dialogue maybe, something that's at your level, or maybe just a little bit challenging. Then the first step is just to listen. Don't try to speak yet. Listen once or twice, really focusing on the sounds, the intonation, the rhythm, how the words kind of flow together naturally.
Right, like learning the melody of a song before you try to sing the words.
That's a great way to put it, exactly. Then you play the clip again, but this time you speak along with the speaker.
Okay, trying to match them.
Yeah, try your absolute best to match their pace, their intonation, where they put the stress on words, and yes, their pronunciation too. But the sources stress, you don't have to be perfect, especially not at first.
Right.
The real goal is the attempt to process that incoming sound and reproduce it quickly. You might repeat this process, shadowing along with the audio maybe 3, 4, 5 times.
And I bet there are ways to make it even harder once you get comfortable.
Oh, absolutely. For an extra challenge, you could try playing the clip, then pausing it every few seconds and immediately trying to repeat the phrase you just heard from memory as quickly as you can.
Oh, that sounds tough.
It is. Or try this. Listen to the whole 30-second clip once, then immediately try to shadow the entire thing from memory without the original audio playing along with you.
Wow.
Yeah, the sources highlight that this really pushes your short-term auditory memory and your recall speed.
Okay, so why is shadowing so effective? What's the brain magic happening there?
What's really fascinating about this drill, according to the sources, is how it trains your brain to process spoken language and then produce it almost instantly.
Okay.
It's described as literally synchronizing your internal listening to speaking loop. Think about it. In a real conversation, you have to understand what the other person says and then formulate your response really quickly.
Right. There's no big pause button.
Exactly. Shadowing builds those specific neural pathways. Think of them like superhighways in your brain, connecting what you hear, auditory input, to what you say, speech output. It makes that whole process much, much faster, more automatic. It builds reactive speed.
Reactive speed. Okay, so timed topic talks build expressive speed, getting your own thoughts out. Shadowing builds reactive speed processing and responding to others. Those seem like two really critical but different parts of conversation.
Precisely. They target different bottlenecks. And that leads us to the third type of drill we looked at, which tackles something even more fundamental. Just pure rapid word access, getting the words out quickly.
Oh.
This is called rapid word recall.
Rapid word recall. Sounds like just pulling words out of your brain as fast as you possibly can.
That's basically it, yeah. And the sources offer a few clever ways to practice this under a bit of pressure. The whole aim is to train that specific skill of quickly retrieving vocabulary and concepts. It kind of mirrors the demand of trying to keep up in a fast chat where you need words now.
Okay, give us some examples. How do you practice this?
Well, one really simple one you can do anytime, anywhere, is called number naming on the move. When you're just walking around or commuting, look at things with numbers on them. License plates on cars are great for this. Bus numbers, apartment numbers, street signs.
Right.
And just say the numbers out loud in English as quickly and clearly as you can as you pass them. Then try to gradually speed up each time you do it without stumbling over the sounds.
That's something you could literally do on your way to work. Sneaky practice.
Totally. Another variation is the category blitz. For this one, you pick a category, any category. Animals, things in a kitchen, types of jobs, colors, furniture, whatever.
Got it.
Then set a timer, maybe 30 seconds, maybe a minute, and your goal is to list out loud as many items as you possibly can in that category before the timer goes off.
Oh, I can feel the pressure already. That forces your brain to just scan your internal dictionary super fast.
That's exactly the point. Pressure helps build speed. And then there's a third one, which nicely combines recall with actual articulation, tongue twister progression.
Tongue twisters, like she sells seashells.
Exactly. Peter Piper picked a pickled peppers, all those classics. Right. You choose one, and you start by saying it very slowly and clearly. Really focus on getting every sound right.
Okay, slow and steady.
Then you repeat it, but a little faster. Then a little faster again. You gradually increase the speed, and the challenge is to maintain the accuracy, the clarity, as you go faster.
Tricky.
It is. The sources suggest recording yourself doing this is particularly helpful, so you can really hear where you start to stumble or slur the words.
Makes sense. So why do these rapid recall exercises work? What's the benefit to overall fluency?
Well, they're specifically training your brain's retrieval speed under pressure. The sources kind of liken it to strengthening the search engine function of your brain for English words.
Okay.
When you do a category blitz, for instance, you're not just accessing words, you're practicing finding them quickly within a specific group, a semantic network. It speeds up that search.
Got it.
And the tongue twisters, they add that crucial physical training for your mouth muscles. They improve the clarity and the speed of your actual articulation. This makes sure that even when your brain finds the word quickly, your mouth can actually keep up and say it clearly. It builds retrieval speed and helps with the physical side of speaking fast.
Okay, this is great. So we've got timed topic talks for getting your own thoughts out faster, shadowing for reacting faster to others, and rapid word recall for just grabbing the words faster. 3 really distinct but obviously crucial parts of speaking fluently and quickly.
Exactly.
Now, the big question, I think, for everyone listening in our chat, like a native community, is how do you actually put these together? How do you weave these into a regular practice routine that works?
Yeah, that's key, isn't it? Just knowing the drills isn't enough. The material actually provides a really helpful suggestion for structuring this. Think of it almost like a workout session for your language brain.
Ooh, I like that. A language workout. Okay, break down this routine for us, like a gym session for English.
Exactly. So you could structure it like this. Start with a warm-up, maybe just about 5 minutes.
Okay.
This is the perfect time for that rapid word recall stuff. Do some number naming while you're making coffee, or sit down for a quick 30-second category blitz right at your desk. Just something to get your brain warmed up and ready to access words fast.
Right. Get the mental engine revving a bit.
Precisely. Then you move into the core practice. This would be the main part, maybe 15 to 20 minutes long.
Okay, the main workout.
Yeah. And this is where you'd alternate between the time topic talks and the real-time shadowing drills. Maybe do 1 or 2 rounds of time talks on different simple topics. Then switch over and do some shadowing with a short audio clip, repeating it a few times.
Mix it up.
Exactly. Maybe finish the core part with 1 more time talk. The sources really emphasize varying it, mixing those 2 drills up to keep things interesting and to challenge both your expressive and reactive speeds.
So you're hitting both sides of the coin, getting your thoughts out, and reacting to input in that main chunk of time.
You got it. Yeah. And then finally, you wrap up with a cool down, say another 5 minutes or so.
Okay.
This is an excellent spot for the tongue twister progression. Start nice and slow, really focus on the sounds, gradually build up some speed, and maybe finish with one last slow, careful repetition to reinforce the clear articulation. It helps wind down the session.
Okay, so that's maybe a focused 25-30-minute session altogether. How often should someone aim to do this language workout?
The strong recommendation from the material we looked at is all about consistency. You need to do it regularly to see the benefits. Aiming for this kind of routine, maybe 3 times a week is suggested as a really good starting point.
3 times a week.
Yeah. Enough to build momentum and actually train those pathways, but maybe not so much that it feels overwhelming. It's definitely not a quick fix. It's a consistent training regimen, like any workout, really.
And I guess keeping track of what you're doing is pretty important, too.
Oh, absolutely critical. The sources really suggest keeping a simple log or journal of your sessions.
What should you track?
Just jot down the date, which drills you did, maybe the topics you used for time talks, the audio clips you used for shadowing. Perhaps note the length or how difficult it felt. And if you do record yourself, which we'll talk about, maybe note your best time on a tongue twister or where you felt you stumbled most.
Why is tracking so helpful?
Well, it does a few things. It helps you actually see your progress over time, which is hugely motivating. You can look back and realize, wow, I could talk for a full minute on that topic now, or that shadowing clip feels easier. And it also highlights areas where maybe you're still struggling and might need to spend a little more practice time.
Okay, a structured routine, tracking progress. Makes sense. What about any insider tips, little tricks to get the absolute most out of these drills?
Yeah, definitely a few things that can really amplify the results. First one, and this can be a bit uncomfortable for people, but record yourself.
Really? Listen back.
I know. Nobody loves the sound of their own voice. But seriously, hearing yourself during a time talk where you got stuck, or listening to your shadowing attempt right after hearing the original native speaker, it's incredibly revealing.
How so?
The sources stress that it helps you pinpoint exactly where your hesitation is creeping in or where your pronunciation or articulation isn't quite clear. It makes your practice much more targeted because you know what to fix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Swallow the cringe, hit record. Got it. What else?
Second big tip, consciously mix things up. Your topics for time talks, your audio clips for shadowing. Don't just do my favorite food in the same 30-second news clip every single session.
Why is variety so important?
Because it prevents your brain from just kind of memorizing specific answers or specific sound patterns. Using different topics, different types of audio podcasts, interviews, movie scenes, different speakers, it forces your brain to build the underlying skill of rapid processing and retrieval, a skill that works across different situations, not just for one specific piece of content.
Right. Keep the brain flexible and adapting.
Exactly. Third tip, and this one is really key for making the training actually transfer to real life. Immediately try to use that faster processing speed right after your drill session.
What do you mean, like jump into a conversation?
Could be. Or even simpler things. Just try narrating your actions to yourself, in English, as you say. Wash the dishes after your practice, but try to do it quickly, smoothly. Or quickly summarize the main points of the podcast clip you just shadowed. Or, yes, if you have a language partner, maybe have a short quick-fire chat right after your workout.
So you're trying to bridge the gap between the drill and actual use while the brain pathways are still kind of warm.
That's the idea. Apply the training immediately. And finally, perhaps the most important tip, something emphasized throughout the material. Be patient with yourself and celebrate the small wins.
That's always a good reminder.
It really is. Building this kind of speed and automaticity, it takes time. It won't happen overnight. Don't get discouraged if you stumble or if you still feel slow sometimes, especially at the beginning. Focus on being consistent with the practice.
And notice the little improvements.
Yes. Celebrate shaving off a few milliseconds of hesitation in a time talk, or getting through a tricky phrase in shadowing more smoothly than you did last week. Every small improvement is a genuine step towards that effortless fluency you're aiming for.
That makes so much sense. It really shifts the perspective. It's not just about knowing the language parts, but training the whole system, your brain, your mouth, to work together like a really efficient, high-speed assembly line.
That's a great way to put it. These drills are specifically engineered to target those components. The speed, the automaticity, the smooth delivery that really characterize fluent, native-like speech.
So fluency isn't just this, mystical state you hope to reach after years and years of general study.
No, that's all.
It's actually a tangible skill, something you can actively build through consistent, targeted practice of exercises like these, like the Times topic talks, the shadowing, the rapid word recall, specifically designed to train your brain's speed and efficiency.
It absolutely is. By deliberately training your brain with these kinds of focused drills, you are actively strengthening those neural pathways. The ones involved in processing and producing English rapidly, you're synchronizing that crucial listening to speaking loop that's just essential for real-time communication.
And thinking about this, based on the material we looked at, it leaves us with a really thought-provoking question, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
If Training your brain with specific drills focused on speed and automaticity can fundamentally change how you process and produce language, creating these faster, stronger neural connections. Well, what does that tell us about how our brains learn any complex skill?
Right. Any skill that requires quick, precise, automatic actions, often under pressure.
Yeah. Whether it's, I don't know, playing a really challenging piece on the piano or executing a complex move in a sport, or even just thinking quickly on your feet in a high-stakes meeting or responding instantly in a debate.
It strongly suggests that maybe, just maybe, breaking down any complex skill into its component speeds, reaction speed, processing speed, execution speed, and then training those specific speeds through targeted, repetitive, maybe even pressure-based drills.
Yeah.
That might be a kind of universal key.
A key to achieving mastery and automaticity.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Not just in language, but across countless cognitive and physical domains. It's a fascinating idea.
It really is. Definitely something for all of you to think about as you start putting these language speed drills into practice.
Indeed. Give them a try. Be consistent. See for yourself what a difference that targeted speed training can make and how natural and effortless your English starts to feel.
Well, thanks so much for diving deep with us today. We really hope these insights and these practical drills give you some powerful tools to build the natural speed and confidence you're looking for in your English.
Keep at it.
Absolutely. Keep practicing, keep training that amazing brain of yours, and we'll catch you in the next deep dive.